Welcome to the Washington Post-Game Show. Wasn't the way we wanted the football game to end. They lose to the Seattle Seahawks 20-15. I am Darren Haynes alongside Charlotte McBride, or whatever side you're on. You're right there. This is where you, the fans, get to enjoy the post-game reaction. Also, you get to get into the conversation. Comment on our Facebook page. How do you feel after this loss? Because now it's, they're on a 4-game winning streak. That is now over. So comment below. We also want to know, how do you feel in regards to this team as we get closer to the postseason? Are you still excited, or do you feel like this team can not make it? But let's start off, Charlotte, with this particular game. We saw two different teams once again, a different first half compared to the second half, where the second half they almost came back and won.
Yeah, this has kind of been the theme this season, right? We've seen them start slow week in and week out, but then the second half, they come out strong, and that's exactly what they did. They were able to make this game close. They were down 20-3 at one point, and of course the final score 20-15. Dwayne Haskins, a whole different player in the second half as well. And he explained that a little bit. We'll get to that, why he became a different player when he came out in the second half. But this team had chances to win this game. We keep saying that every single week. I feel like they have chances. They're right there. At the beginning, not looking so hot, but then they come alive in the end, and they looked like they could do it. We had some hope.
You know what? We had some hope, but I'm gonna keep it real, Charlotte. I said last week that when we made our predictions that the Washington football team was going to lose. You picked them to win. Listen, I'm trying to wonder why did I even waste my time cutting this shirt to wear a crop top? They wanted me to wear a crop top if the Washington football team beat Seattle, but I knew they weren't going to win. And a big reason why I knew they weren't going to win was because of the Seattle Seahawks and their quarterback and how he can extend plays, and also how their defense plays. It was just a little bit too much for Washington today. And their running game, I'm sorry to say, but the running game gutted the Washington defense. And the Washington defense has been the foundation of this particular game. But in that first half, listen, the Washington football team allowed more rushing yards today against Seattle than they did against any other team this entire season. That's a big reason why they took the L. Here's what the team had to say about ending their 4-game losing streak.
When you go and look at it, and we'll see it on tape tomorrow, there were some missed chances. We had some plays that we could have made that, could have impacted the game. And unfortunately, we didn't make those plays.
I feel like we hurt ourselves more than anything, coming out slow with a couple big plays. They made a couple big plays. And overall, really it's just stuff we need to improve on. I don't feel like it's an everything, but just really technique-wise, just clean stuff up.
I think it's more tough when you put yourself in a situation to win the game and you don't pull it out. I feel like we had an opportunity at the end throughout the game to make some plays. We just didn't make those plays, but that's a good football team over there, and they made, credit to them. Their defense stepped up when they needed to, and they made some plays offensively, so don't take anything away from them. But we feel like we left some stuff on the field, which during the end of this season like this, when we're in a playoff push, we got to capitalize on all opportunities.
So just a correction, they didn't snap their 4-game losing streak. It was a 4-game winning streak that they snapped.
Yeah.
However, they're still on top of the NFC East division, so if the playoffs ended today, they will.
You mean the regular season?
Regular season. If the playoffs started today, they would win their division. They'll be in the playoffs. However, you still have the New York Giants that played tonight against the Browns. And then the Eagles are taking on the Cardinals right now. I think the Eagles are up I think they trailed 26-14 to the Cardinals. But that's not a big factor there. The one thing you want to keep an eye out on are the New York Giants. We'll talk about that just a little bit later, Charlotte.
Well, another big factor in this game, of course, Dwayne Haskins. He got the start over Alex Smith because Alex Smith is still injured, battling a strained calf muscle. So Dwayne Haskins got his chance. He didn't call it a second chance. He didn't call it a final chance. Earlier this week, he just called it a chance to make an impact. So that's what he was trying to do. First quarter of this game, first half of this game, Dwayne Haskins not doing a lot. He struggled. We weren't really seeing a lot from him, but he came out the second half. He had those 2 interceptions. Then he came out a whole different player. We saw him drive this team down the field. He used Logan Thomas. He used J.D. McKissick. He was using a lot of different targets, and he was really locked in.
It was day and night because I think sometimes when you have a quarterback, especially if you look at a guy like what Dwayne goes through, he's up and down and don't just
a lot of emotions.
A lot of emotion, especially when you go on Twitter and you see what people are saying about him. Some people are with him, some people are without him. are saying they don't want him at all. And then he comes out and he has to prove. There's a lot of pressure. And it's not like he's going against the Cowboys defense. This is a Seattle defense that he needed to perform against very well right away. And maybe he was nervous at the beginning. Maybe, I don't know if nervous is the right word, but it did take him a little bit to settle in. But when he settled in, we saw exactly the quarterback we would want Dwayne Haskins to be. And let's forget about the extra point. Let's say if they did make that extra point, and then they made their second extra point, both extra points. They didn't have to go for that 2-point conversion. You're looking at an opportunity where Dwayne Haskins was the reason why they drove their offense down to put them in a position to win this game.
And all they needed was a field goal.
All they needed was a field goal if they made that extra point.
Right.
And they didn't have to go for 2 for their second touchdown. It would have been a totally different ball game. We'll be talking about, hey, maybe a possible Washington win in overtime. Instead, we're looking at this 20-15 loss. And Dwayne Haskins, after the game, when he was talking about what caused or what created the turnaround, here's what he had to say.
After your second pick, you seemed to get into a better rhythm. What happened for you then?
I got mad.
Did you tell yourself something to
I said I got mad.
Okay.
I just know what I'm capable of, and stuff happens in a game, and really it's just not letting the mistakes carry on to the next series and next play. So after that play, I put it on myself to do as much as I could to help this team come back. And we fell short, and I thought we had them at the end, but things to learn from, things to work on and improve from, things on film that I'll get better from, and looking forward to next week.
Well, the second half, I thought he distributed the ball a little bit better. One thing you saw was he did wait a little bit longer to give those routes to develop a little bit more downfield. Early on in the first half, he was getting the ball a little bit quick underneath instead of allowing the routes down the field to develop a little bit better. Once he started doing that, he started finding those guys that were a little bit deeper in the second level.
I feel like he tried to do the best that he could, bouncing back from turnovers. He had us in a position to win the game, and he had a short-term memory. So I felt like we made some plays and we left some out on the field, but that just doesn't fall on him. We got to, including myself, got to make some of those bang plays to help out the quarterback.
And we're looking at the playoff chances now. They have a 61% chance of making the playoffs. I want to just add to Dwayne Haskins real quick. He had 295 yards, a touchdown. Obviously, those 2 interceptions has really hurt them, but almost 300 yards in this game. He had a solid game when you're looking at the stats, and he said he knows what he's capable of, and he just looks to continue to learn. He wants to learn more from Alex Smith, and he will continue to do his part for this football team. So looking at that, that's not bad. 61%
No, it's not bad.
chance.
It's not bad at all. It's sort of around what the percentage was going into this game against Seattle. And you're mentioning about Dwayne Haskins. Ron Rivera made it very clear, like if Alex Smith is healthy to go next week against Carolina, Alex Smith is going to be the starting quarterback. Dwayne Haskins will be the backup. And now you're trying to wonder, I guess you're scoreboard watching. Ron Rivera doesn't like to scoreboard watch, but the Giants play tonight.
You better believe that every single Washington football player is sitting at home watching that game tonight.
The Giants play tonight, and you see their playoff chances at 61%, but look at what will happen if the Giants win. Their playoff chances drop down to 40%. And as you can remember, the Giants own the tiebreaker here. So they will be tied on top of the NFC East if the Giants beat the Cleveland Browns tonight. And they win. They have that tiebreaker. They have a tougher schedule moving forward in regards to the Giants. They still have to take on, I believe, the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Now, if the Giants lose, now we're looking we're in a good position here. We're jumping up to 70%. But
and their schedule going forward looks good. When I say they, I'm talking about the Washington football team.
Oh, Carolina and Philly,
Carolina and Philly. So things are looking good for Washington. And when we looked at this schedule early on, we looked at who they were playing in December. We did say early on that the Seahawks would be their toughest task in December, which it was today. But they have a favorable schedule moving forward. So, we'll see. Obviously, we are going to be scoreboard watching tonight. The Giants-Browns game, 8:20. We'll see what happens.
Somebody, or should I say a team that we've been watching. You remember, comment on our Facebook page. I see a lot of comments coming in here. One that I just want to just say right away that just threw me off was Liz Smith. Was like, we always lose to the Seahawks. Well, she says the god darn Seahawks. That is actually wrong. Washington actually won the last game back in 2017, which was at Seattle, which was a huge win. So I just want to put that out there. Kirk Cousins, I mean, performed really well. Then everything kind of went
Unfortunately,
downhill
the
after that.
postseason, Seattle kind of has Washington's number as of late. But regular season.
Yeah, but also at FedEx Field as well. They haven't
Right.
beaten Seattle at home since 2005. One big way that this Washington football team can get things done, and of course we already mentioned it before, the foundation of this football team is the what, Charla?
The
defense, of course. They're still playing well despite the circumstances. They've only allowed 3 touchdowns in the second half since week 5.
And you know what? We were going into this game looking at what can Russell Wilson do. That was a main concern for Washington, for Jack Del Rio. He said, you know, you're playing a mobile quarterback like that, someone that's similar to the Kyler Murrays of the world, those guys that know how to scramble, that can get out of the pocket, and they can do a lot of things. Of course, we know Russell Wilson has some of his favorite targets, and Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Well, today, we did not see a lot in the passing game from Russell Wilson. This defense held Russell Wilson to just 121 yards and a touchdown. We're talking Russell Wilson, but they also had the running game.
Yeah,
and that's where Seattle beat them today. Seattle hasn't been able to really use that running game until now because they've had Chris Carson injured. They've had Carlos Hyde injured. Both of those guys have kind of had up and down seasons because they've been injured. But today they had that 1-2 punch back. They had Hyde, they had Carson, and we saw exactly what those two guys did. And they really ran right over that defense. It just seemed like when Washington defense needed to step up, they really just could not stop Carson and Hyde, and that's how the Seahawks were ultimately able to win this game.
Yeah, Carlos Hyde had that 50-yard touchdown, which was that one touchdown in the second half, a total of 3 since week 5 for the Washington football defense in the second half. And then I'm looking at Russell Wilson. I mean, you mentioned about his passing yards, but I mean, dude also had a 38-yard run.
He does know how to,
So like if my man had some wheels, he probably would have had a rushing touchdown as well because nobody was around there to tackle him. However, though, the defense, I don't care what you say, and I kind of got on the Washington defense at the beginning of the season. I guess I can say, you know what, my bad, I apologize, because I said they were sort of suspect. I think they even put them in the trash category.
I think you did.
Because they're giving up those big plays. But I can always rely on this Washington defense to step up in the second half. I feel comfortable with that. I feel like it's just what's going to happen. It's like, okay, we're down 10 or we're down 17, whatever it is. I still feel good because the defense will step up in the second half.
And that's exactly what Ron Rivera was talking about after the game, what it meant to him as a coach to see this team change it around. They were letting a lot of plays get by in that first half. Of the second half, when they needed them to, this defense came through. Here's what Ron Rivera had to say about that.
You know, that's something that's you know, big time. And being able to, you know, to get those things really does show that, you know, these guys can make things happen when they get after it. It's unfortunate, you know, that opening drive of the first half, we gave up a touchdown. You know, you'd love to see those guys bow their neck and force a field goal. Instead, we gave up that long run that you know, was really probably one of the things that, you know, kind of came back and haunted us. Obviously,
it just came down to us executing. Nothing more than that. When we executed, we were stout versus the run, and that's how we've been this year. When we've executed, we've been very good against the run, been good against the pass. And for us, when we don't execute what's being called, that's where things get a little leaky.
Well, we've been talking about the defense. Now let's kind of go back to the offense. Dwayne Haskins, we mentioned, he was really struggling to find some guys in the first half, but the second half, a whole different ball game. And there were 2 guys that we saw incredible plays from. Logan Thomas with a breakout game. He had over 100 yards. And then we also saw great things from J.D. McKissick. McKissick, obviously a former Seahawk. We saw him before the game talking with Pete Carroll and some of the guys there. But so it must have been fun for him to play against his former team. And he did a great job. He had 9 receptions, 56 yards receiving there. And he also had, 13 carries, 51 yards running. So over 100 yards total.
I've been a fan, as you talk about J.D. McKissick, I'm a huge fan of Logan Thomas. And you're mentioning over 100 receiving yards. That's the first time in his career. One little side note about Logan Thomas, which I had to do some more research about, because we all talk about how he played quarterback at Virginia Tech. He was actually a really good tight end in high school. So he's actually
going back to his roots.
Like he has that tight end skills in his back pocket. I'm still trying to wonder, okay, how did we turn him from a tight end into a quarterback going to Virginia Tech? I'm going to do some more research to try to figure that out. However, Logan Thomas, to me, the last few weeks, is almost like that Rob Gronkowski for
When
Tom
you
Brady
need him, he's
when he was
there.
in New England. Yes, when you need him, he's
Right,
there.
right.
And I can't say enough on how special Logan Thomas is, and I'm glad he's on the Washington football team.
And something funny that Dwayne Haskins mentioned, Logan Thomas came up to him at the end of the game and said, hey, thanks. You threw it to me 12, 13 times. Dwayne
no
Haskins
clue.
didn't even realize that at the time. He just said, well, you're the guy that's making plays, so I'm going to keep throwing it to you. Here's what some of the other guys had to say about Logan Thomas's performance.
Logan's a beast, man, former quarterback who understands the soft pockets of defenses, having seen it from a quarterback's perspective, and then being savvy enough as a route runner to find the soft pockets. And he's a great athlete to get away from man coverage, and he's putting it all together. He's a great blocker as well, and he's played a lot of football, and he's one of our leaders on our offense and on our team. And for him to get the opportunities that he's getting, and for him to capitalize on them, I'm just happy for him. He said I threw him the ball 12 times, and I had no idea, but he was getting first downs for me, and can't complain about that.
I feel like Logan has really, really executed at a high level. To be able to pass, catch, and make guys miss and get open, get separation like he can at that size is pretty impressive. I feel like it causes some mismatches for defense and him and the quarterbacks, whether it's been Alex, whether it's been Dwayne. They've been connecting a lot, and that just helps our offense as a whole.
I think it's amazing. I really do. I mean, these are guys that we brought in, knowing that, or at least we felt these are guys that were getting ready to take the next step, and they most certainly showed it and have played like it. And, they really are a part of what we're trying to do as we go forward as a football team, and it just shows you that, their value is important, as is missing a guy like, Antonio Gibson. We look forward to getting Antonio back, hopefully this week. But we'll see. And, but in the meantime, we've got to get everybody, on the same page and get it going.
I think all of our ears just perked up. He said Antonio Gibson might be back this week. Okay. And Alex Smith as well. So who knows what kind of team this could be next week. They're taking on a 4-10 Carolina team. We'll make our predictions on that coming up. We want you to make your predictions as well. We want to hear from you. Comment on our Facebook page right now. Again, they're taking on Carolina next week. What can they do? What can they accomplish? Well, we will see.
All right, you ready, Charlotte?
My
Are you
favorite
sure you're
segment.
ready?
I'm ready.
We are both suited right now. We have the swag, but we have your favorite segment called
Suited or Booted.
Yeah, we want to know what you think about what some of the players are wearing, and we're going to go straight to Chase. He seems like a regular on this particular show.
He is.
And Chase Young, obviously rocking the Beats, the Coca-Cola jacket.
I like it.
The
Look at the
boombox,
shoes.
the Gucci shoes.
He's got some Gucci shoes.
What are you going with, Charlotte? Suited or booted for Chase Young, the
I
rookie
like
out of the
this
Master High
style.
School, the
It's kind
hometown
of
guy?
the old school, the retro. You got the Coca-Cola jacket, you got the Gucci sneakers, but that boombox, that adds. That's kind of when, Thomas Davis had the luggage. That was his accessory. Well, this is his, the boombox. I like it. I'm going to say suited.
I'm going suited as well, and I'm suiting it because this is Chase Young before he put on that Coca-Cola shirt. This is actually
he was feeling it.
Yeah, he was feeling it. And listen, once again, this y'all lucky Washington didn't win, because I was going to put on the crop top just like Chase Young does, and I'm telling you, that's what my body looks like when my jacket is off. But I'm saying suited because the boombox.
He dreams.
Listen, I want that boombox. I put that on Santa's list.
Fantastic.
Santa, if you're out there, I need that for Christmas. Straight up. That's why I'm saying
great.
suited.
I'll say suited too.
All right, let's go over to the Ravens. They put a beat down in their win over Jacksonville today.
Yeah.
And, they had to dress to impress as well. What do you think of this particular player for the Baltimore Ravens? Derek Wolfe.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
That's in your alley, right? You
there
would
we
rock
go.
that, wouldn't you?
We got the Louis Vuitton right there. I'm going to say, because the style, I'm going to say suited. It matches. He could have gone a different way here. I could have booted it if it didn't all match, but I like the gray t-shirt. Even matches the gray shoes. Then you got the full tracksuit, the Louis Vuitton. I like it. I'm going to say suited.
Girl, I'm going to say boot that bad boy. My man looks like a human billboard. Nah. Like, listen, I'm not a big logo person. If I'm going to rock some of that stuff, maybe it's on the inside of my jacket or something like that. I mean, it's a billboard or he's a NASCAR driver. Like, he's just got the logos all over him right now. I'm booting that bad boy.
He's definitely not a NASCAR driver.
Listen, I hope he had a change of outfit. Like, I hope he did not wear that during the post-game stuff, despite them winning, because that is, what does the L mean in the
Loser.
Yeah. Anyways, but there's also a V in there, which could mean victory, but what do I know?
Yeah.
All right, so another Ravens player trying to get in the festive spirit.
Yes.
This is fullback Pat Ricard.
Fantastic.
Suited or booted, Charlotte?
Oh, I am all about a festive sweater. 'Tis the season. We are officially in the week of Christmas. I love it. The lights, I mean, yeah, I'm all about, give me an ugly Christmas sweater, call it a day. That's a suited. I hope he wears it all week long.
Is there any way we can bring that video back? Don't worry about seeing us, but I mean, to have the swag, the confidence.
And it's not just an ugly Christmas sweater, it's a Baltimore Ravens.
But look how he's
Christmas
walking,
sweater.
Charlotte. Look how he's walking. He has that walk like, I don't give a about what y'all say in this dang on tunnel. I'm gonna walk with my little festive thing that has all these electrical wires and batteries that'll probably electrocute me, but I don't care, because you know what?
That's the best.
Look at that is a swag walk.
He wins our suited today.
I'm saying I suited for that one. All right, before we continue, and we want you to comment on our Facebook page because we're going to give you a shout out just after that. We had a chance to speak to one of our special team specialists, Danny Johnson, to get to know him just a little bit more. Young star, rising star for special teams.
Rapid 9, sponsored by Toyota.
Rapid 9 with Danny Johnson. Who would you rather not give the keys to your car to? Anybody from the Washington football roster?
Man, Fabian drives fast, so I don't think I'll give my keys to Fabian, man. I need to keep eyes on him at all times.
You went to Southern, which is an HBCU. Doug Williams went to another HBCU, Grambling State. If you two played each other, who would win?
Taking my senior year at Southern, I'm always going against Doug. You know, that's just that rivalry guy. You know, I'm gonna bet my money with Southern. So I'm gonna take my chance with my team, my senior year.
So what do you think Doug Williams will say though?
He gonna say his team, but he already know how that rivalry is. Like when it come down to that game, we gonna win.
You're on kick return. You have to make a move on one player, break his ankles, but it's one of your teammates. Which player on your team would you break their ankles to go run for a touchdown?
I think I gotta get Hop because Hop always talking noise to me about he'll make that tackle. So I think I gotta get Hop. I definitely have to try Hop.
Well, Dustin Hopkins really feels like he can tackle you in the open field.
Man, Hop feels like he could tackle anybody in the open field. I think my first year, we used to do fakes. Hop used to always try to outrun me when he was trying to get to the edge. So I think I'd like to take my chances with Hop.
If you can switch bodies with anybody on this team to live their life for one day, who would you switch with?
I would love to be Sweat for a day. Man, that dude just, Sweat's a monster, man. Just how big he is. I would just love to see, you know, just how I would put myself in his body and just use that frame. Like, and then especially if I could play another position with his frame, I think it'll be crazy.
Is there a particular person that people say you look like?
Oh man, they used to always tell me I look like Deshaun Watson going in college. I used to be like, man, they used to say that so much. Like I hate it. And they used to say it so much. I'm just like, man, why y'all always say that? It was like, because you do.
Danny Johnson, Rapid 9, man. I appreciate you.
No problem. I appreciate you.
All right, so we're seeing some of your comments on our Facebook page right now. I'm going to start with this one. Kiki Wasso says a losing record does not belong in the playoffs. So yes, they are now 6-8, but let me remind you, record or not, if you win this division, you're in the playoffs. So I think if they can do enough to win this division, even though, as Darren has said, they've been a stinky division this year, I think that they do enough to get in the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens. Only 2 teams in NFL history have made it to the postseason with a losing record. Of course, that was the 2014 Carolina Panthers, coached by Ron Rivera, and the 2010 Seattle Seahawks. So we'll see if Ron Rivera can again bring a team with a losing record into the postseason.
If it happens once, it can happen many times again. Don't sleep on some teams that maybe you're not winning that many particular games. If you get into the playoffs, you had to win some games. You had to beat some quality teams to get into the postseason. I wouldn't want to play a Washington football team probably on the road, though. But I think the only way Washington can sneak in is if they win their particular division. I like Washington playing on the road better than at home. Am I crazy for that?
I don't know.
But I feel like the only way they can really, truly get into the postseason is if they win their division.
Right,
and if they win their division, then they're going to have to play a home game. I just think they play better on the road, and they can go the white on white, because the burgundy on burgundy.
The white on white seems to be the good luck charm
correct.
so far.
The burgundy and burgundy did not work for them
Right.
today, didn't work for them the last time they wore it back in 2017. They were both L's, they lost. Another comment that we have, which I think is really good from just a long name, but it says Baseball Adventures of Vincent Scott. Why can't it just be like Vincent Scott? Anyways, to win with the talent they have to play well for more than a couple quarters. And Vincent, I agree with you 100%. Imagine, think about it. I feel like this is like some Disney movie. Imagine if the Washington
if they
football
played well
team
for 4 quarters.
played so well, if they played well in the first 2 quarters, we wouldn't be going through all the drama in the 3rd and 4th quarter. This would be a different ballgame.
They just have that slow start every single week. It's got to stop.
For all the people at home that are not aware of this particular stat, but they have not scored on their opening drive all season. Matter of fact, I think it's like 16 straight games, I believe, because it goes back to last season. 16 straight games that they haven't scored. Oh, excuse me, it's 15 straight games that they have not scored on their opening drive. They are still the only team in the NFL this season that has yet to score a touchdown on their opening drive.
They're always playing catch up. That's what they're doing. They're not scoring on their opening drive. They're not doing well in the first quarter. They're kind of doing something just before the half, and then they come alive then in the 3rd quarter. But we've got to see more from them in the first quarter, or else you're right, they're not going to continue to win this season or into the postseason if they get there.
Love these comments, you guys. What do you think of this, Charla?
Okay.
So Troy Grissom wonders, when is the offensive coordinator and his offense going to be questioned? They stunk in Carolina, too. Because remember, this same head coach and Scott Turner, I don't believe he was the offensive coordinator, but he was promoted to OC coming to Washington. So when are we going to start questioning them? Do you want me to go on this, or do you? No, I'll let you go. Ladies first. I have something I do want to say to my man Troy.
I mean, I think, and I find you and I, when we're watching these games, we're also questioning. There's quite a few times where we wonder, wait, why that play? Wait, what are they doing there? But then you wonder, is it the play calling, or is it just the players in the game? Is Dwayne Haskins not doing enough? And Ron Rivera said early on, as we said, he was kind of a slow start. We weren't sure, was he nervous, what he was doing? He wasn't making the right decisions, but then he started to take his time in the second half. He started to wait a little bit, and then he was finding those targets downfield. That's when we really saw a lot from J.D. McKissick and from Logan Thomas. So we needed some improvement from Dwayne Haskins, and then we saw that. So again, was it the play calling? I don't know. Or is it the players in the game?
See, I don't think we can ever really figure out that answer, Troy and Charla. The thing what I really want to know is, I kind of want to go on Troy's page, and I want to see what comments he was making back when they were winning on that 4-game winning streak, because it's easy to complain when you lose.
Of course.
Easy to complain. But what were you doing when you were winning? Because when they were winning and Alex Smith was making the right plays, and even though there were just little passes here and there.
Yeah, not huge plays. We never saw a lot of big moments.
Yeah, and that, you know what? And that's one thing actually I think I can't question Scott Turner about, is why don't we throw it deep? A guy like Dwayne Haskins, who has that arm, and a guy like Terry McLaurin, who is literally the fastest kid on the team, maybe one of the fastest in the NFL. Why are we not trying to expose?
We're missing those,
But I have so many buts. When you bring back Antonio Gibson and you really establish a running game where you have a running back who can consistently rush for over 100 yards and pound it in the end zone, it makes your team no longer one-dimensional. Because right now they are a one-dimensional team since Antonio Gibson is out. If you're running, if you're running the ball really well, the defense needs to say, "Oh, I need to watch out for the running game." If the passing game is going really well, "Oh, I need to watch out for the passing game." But when you're doing both, you're stuck in the middle. It's like double dutch. I don't know if you're you're getting ready to go into the ropes for double dutch, and you're kind of going back and forth. That's where a lot of defensive teams will be if you can run and pass the ball.
And that's what, I mean, the Seahawks can do that. We saw that they had the 1-2 punch in their running game with Carson and Hyde, and then we also saw that they have guys like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So they were able to kind of do different things and throw this defense off. And again, that's what Washington needs. So we are hopeful. We have our fingers crossed that Antonio Gibson will be healthy and will be back against Carolina. We shall see, but he's still got 6 more days. Come on, heal that toe. Get there.
All right, so now moving forward, and I don't know if we should make predictions now.
Sure.
Do you want a prediction for next week already?
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, I guess we should, because that's where the whole crop top thing started last week, because Chase Young was wearing his crop top. I'm not doing mine first.
Okay.
But
I will.
Grace in the booth. Grace, there's music called "Where's the Love," because I like to play "Where's the Love" music when Charlotte
is. He likes to get into this.
Well, because you're explaining why the Washington football team is going to win. So go ahead. You have your moment.
Okay. So I have been picking Washington for the last 5 weeks. Obviously this week.
Very proud of you.
I got it wrong. But I'm going to go with them. There's the music. I'm going to go with them against Carolina. Carolina has really struggled this year. As we mentioned, they only have 4 wins this season. They just haven't been playing great football. And I think Washington has been playing some of its best football as of late. Obviously, had some mistakes today, had a slow start today. But I think they're going to use that to fuel the fire. And of course, this is Ron Rivera's previous team that he spent a decade with. And I think he wants nothing more than to go and have a big win. And I think that this group of guys, this group of players wants to do that for their head coach, who's had quite a year himself. I think they're going to go in there. I think they're going to win by at least 2 touchdowns.
That was beautiful.
Oh.
Very proud of you.
Thanks.
No need to play the music for me. For the first time in a few weeks, your boy is picking the Washington football team to beat down the Carolina Panthers. I don't care if it's Ron Rivera's little reunion with his former team. Washington is just a better football team than the Carolina Panthers. Matter of fact, I'm predicting it right now. Washington's going to beat the Carolina Panthers, and they're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And they're going to make the postseason, winning the NFC East. I'm calling it right now.
I'm
no
going
need
to
for any
second
music.
that. I'm going to second that. I agree with you. I think
there
they're going to
wrap-up
win
music?
out. I don't know.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's good. She's on it.
Oh, it sounds like Metallica.
We're ready. We're ready. We're getting pumped up. We're ready for the end of the season. 2 more games left. We have Carolina and Philadelphia. We both think that they're going to win out. We think that they're going to win this division. And we think we're going to be talking about Washington football in the postseason.
FYI, the Dallas Cowboys beat the San Francisco 49ers 41-33.
49ers.
How did that happen?
Yikes. Oh.
It makes the win over San Fran seem like, it wasn't that good. Let's wrap this show up because we need to figure out what's going on in the NFC East because the Giants play today, and we need to see if Washington can still keep their lead. But I don't think the Giants can beat Cleveland. But that is the wrap-up music. I need to shut up.
Thanks for joining us. Same time, same place. Next week, we'll be talking about Carolina and Washington.